Hi Emily, this is Mike from Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine, and this is your Singer. Uh, just This is the final test before we ship her out, and I'm going to go over how to thread the machine and wind the bobbin, and how to attach and detach the hand crank. The hand crank is in this little bag, and putting it on is just as simple as can be. I'm going to ship it detached because that's safer, less likely to be damaged. So there's this one bolt here at the bottom, the one that the other machine didn't have, and you can see there's a little arm here that goes around when you crank it. And this little arm has to go between any of the spaces between the spokes of the hand wheel. So simple. Put the screw in the hole, put the line it up with the hole in the base of the machine, and make sure that that little arm goes between two of the spokes, because that's what's going to do the actual turning. So that's all. One screw, tighten it. There we go. When you tighten the screw, it's going to get loose as soon as you try to turn the handle. It's the original vintage wooden handled hand crank. Beautiful piece. Even the decals on it are nice. Well, let's start by winding a bobbin. And your bobbin, of course, is below the slide plate. And there's a little button here right in the edge of the cutout. Push that button down and it lifts the bobbin so you can get your finger under it. Well, that's got a lot of black thread on it. Oh no, it's got two colors wound onto it. So we'll pull that off. It's a rainy day here in Oregon. And this is, we're in my old 1953 Spartan trailer. You can hear the rain on the roof. Actually, the rain is on the overhang that I built over the roof. But it still sounds nice. And tomorrow, hopefully, is my day of departure for the Sonoran Desert. We're going to try to get out of here before the snow flies on the one high mountain between here and the south, which is Mount Ashland, right down at the southern Oregon border. And it's a mess when it's snowy. I've been over it several times in the snow, and not near as much fun as when it's warm and dry. For one, I really don't like putting chains on. Yeah, we got 4 different colors of thread on that one bobbin. Okay, to wind a bobbin, now this is your bobbin winder here, of course, and you move it. Oh, this has a catch, okay. So, this is your bobbin winder, and to wind the bobbin, we're going to put the thread on the spool pin, go down to the big thread guide here, and down to the this is where the bobbin's going to go, but let's start the thread on the bobbin before we put it on. It's easier that way. So put your thread through the little hole in the side of the bobbin. All right, let's do that one. Okay, and hold that tail end of thread while you put several wraps on the bobbin to hold the thread in place while you wind. Then the bobbin goes on with the thread going over the top that way. And push it on and then turn the rubber tire until the little keeper pin on the bobbin winder goes into the pin on the side of the bobbin. There. Now there's a notch up here at the top. This is the piece that moves back and forth to wind your bobbin evenly. And then there's another notch on the back of this little arm at the bottom. Take up a little bit of slack here. Declutch your machine by turning the knob in the center of the hand wheel towards you a quarter turn until you feel it hit its stop. And now the hand wheel can turn without cycling the rest of the machine to wind the bobbin. So here we go. Oh wait, one final thing. Push the bobbin winder down until it locks into place, and the hand wheel can turn the little rubber tire. Yeah, now we're ready to go. Okay. Now you can see that arm move from side to side as the bobbin winds. And as it fills with thread, the thread's going to push this little finger on the back here away until it gets full, and when it's full, it pops it loose. So your bobbin stops winding. And I'm going to stop winding there because we don't need that much to make a demonstration. So that's it, to wind the bobbin. Pretty simple. Then retighten your clutch knob in the center of the hand wheel here. A lot of force there. Okay, on this one, you're going to want the thread coming off the top to this side. And feed the thread into the little notch on the side of the bobbin race and under the leaf spring, which is your lower tension. Then you'll feel a little bit of drag on the thread. To thread the machine, put your thread spool on the upper spool pin, go into the big thread guide here at the top, and down between the discs of the tension assembly, all the way back around to the top again. And then when you come back down, you'll catch the check spring. You can see the check spring here. And that check spring is move it as freely as it could. Stiff and sore. I was participating in a firewood day with the other young people here at Leisureland and several of their young friends that had come over, and that's a lot of bending and squatting and picking up and carrying while the other people are cutting and splitting. And just a little bit stiff and sore. We'll go back to bobbin winding here in just a second. Threading. The decals on this machine are in very nice condition. The clear coat is starting to yellow in a few places and flake a little bit, but we've stabilized it, and it should be fine now. Okay, to thread the machine, put your spool on the spool pin, go into the thread guide, between the discs of the tension assembly all the way around to the top, and pick up the check spring there. After you pick up the check spring, go under this big thread guide and up to your take-up lever. Through the take-up lever, from right to left, down through the thread guide on the faceplate, thread guide below the faceplate, and let's see, no bottom thread guide on this one. So after that, after this thread guide below the faceplate, you go through the eye of the needle, and on this machine it threads from left to right. On the featherweight and the 301, the 201, it threads in the opposite direction. You have to get down here and actually look at what I'm doing. Yeah, cut a clean end on your thread, and it's a lot easier to get it through the eye of the needle. There we go. It's not as hard as I make it look. Just make sure that you can see the eye of the needle that you're poking at. If you can't really see the eye, hold a piece of white paper behind it, and it'll make the eye just pop out, easy to see. Okay, so from the spool to the upper thread guide, through the tension discs all the way back around to the top, come back the other way and catch the check spring, and then go under the big take-up guide, thread guide, up to the take-up lever, and through from left to right, from right to left, from the inside of the machine toward the outside, then down to the thread guide on the faceplate, thread guide below the faceplate, and through the needle from left to right. Hold your thread and turn the hand wheel towards you one full revolution. Now, and the needle will take the thread. The needle will take the thread down, where the hook will pick it up, wrap it around the bobbin, and bring up your lower thread. There we have it, lower thread. Go between the toes of the presser foot towards the back of the machine, and we're ready to sew. Your fabric under the presser foot, lower the presser foot using the lever on the back of the machine. hold your thread for this first stitch or two until it locks into place, and then we're ready to sew. You'll turn the hand crank away from you, and that will turn the hand wheel towards you. Your hand wheel always turns towards you on a singer. This is your stitch length lever. You screw it in, stitch length knob. Screw it in for longer stitches, screw it out for smaller stitches. There is no reverse on this machine. This is your upper tension assembly, and when you have your tension adjusted correctly, the top thread and the bottom thread interlock and pull on each other, and so the threads actually lock inside the fabric rather than on the top or on the bottom. So if the bottom looks loose and loopy, you want a little more tension. If the top's not snug, let's see. If the fabric is getting pulled up and puckered, you may have a little too much tension. So you screw it in for more tension, screw it out for less tension. And we're ready to sew. So here we go. What's going on here? Oh, what did I do? I must have cranked with the thread still in the needle because we have some extra upper thread. Okay. I see exactly what I've done. I need to have a little more tension on here so the thread isn't too loose inside the bobbin race area. You want enough tension that you feel some little bit of drag, but not a whole lot. And then again, look at the bottom of your fabric to make sure that you have enough toes. Thread between the toes of the presser foot towards the back. See, that's what happens when you don't have any tension on the upper tension. Thread under the presser foot, lower the presser foot, hold the threads, and then again crank away from you. See, I don't know if you can see that loopiness there. That means we need a little more tension. Not quite enough. And adjust your tension up or down in increments of about a quarter turn at a time, and then check the results. And there's no reverse, but if you want reverse, all you have to do is turn your fabric around and then you're sewing in reverse down the same seam. Yeah, that's a nice looking, well balanced stitch. Okay, and we tighten it down some more for longer stitch. Well, these old Singer 66s are just so awesome. This is a machine that can be a hand crank, a treadle, or motorized. Now let's screw this way out for a short stitch length. Definitely get a different screw for you before I ship this out. The hex head of the screw is not letting it screw in as tight as it could. There we go. So she's sewing beautifully, working great. Oh, this is what I didn't mention. This is the pressure on your sewing foot. So if you're sewing something really delicate, you may want to back off a little bit on your tension so you don't mar the fabric. If you're sewing something really heavy, you may need a little more tension. I mean, not tension, pressure on the presser foot. You're going to want to oil this. If you use it all day for several days in a row, you should probably oil it once a week or so. If you sew for a couple hours a day, a couple days a week, oil it once every month or two. And if you only sew on rare occasions and just a little project, and it hasn't been oiled in 3 months, go through and oil it before you start because the oil does evaporate. And your user manual will show you all of the oiling points. There are little holes here along the top. There's an inspection plate on the back here. That you can get into oil, and then you can also tip your machine back to oil the bottom. The bobbin winder gets a drop of oil on either side, and there are 2 places on your crank that need to be oiled. This I put it in this test base because some of the parts contact the table when you sew if it's not up in a base. And I don't have a base to send you, so you'll have to pick up the base somewhere. There's some really, really pretty ones available on Etsy, custom-made bases. Or you can just get an old sewing machine case and use the bottom for the base. That's about it. If you have come here from somewhere else on the internet and found this video, we are Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing, and we restore vintage sewing machines. And we're on Stagecoach Road out here in the Coast Range of Oregon, and so we are stagecoachroadsewing.com. And if you come out to our website, you'll see, you know what, forget all that. Emily, you got an awesome machine, and we really appreciate your patronage. You help us keep doing what we're doing here, and I look forward to painting up a 301 for you. And I don't think that we have any other machines in the pipe. If I have another machine of yours that I've somehow forgotten, do remind me, but I don't think that I do at this time. So again, thank you, and tomorrow we hit the road, and the next time you hear from us, we will be in the in the Sonoran Desert, down near the borders of California, Arizona, and Mexico. So, we'll talk to you soon, Emily. Bye-bye.